Cool. So the demo is really simple, but hopefully we'll get the idea across of what we're trying to achieve. So this is our Cockroach Labs, our cloud sort of control plane. You don't even need a credit card to get started to create your cluster. Especially for serverless, you have a free tier that gives you about 250 million, what we call request units with 5 gigs of storage. And if you had a credit card, you can sort of scale this as you need it. You can deploy either on AWS or GCP. We'll go with AWS for now, and then you can choose a region. We also have an exciting multi-region serverless in preview right now, so you can also check that out later. And for now, I'm going to select US West. And yeah, you can set a spend limit. This is the nice feature we have, is that if you want to reduce your cost and say, I don't want to go above X amount of dollars a month, you can set that and we will adjust, make sure that you don't go beyond that. So in this case, I'm just going to use the free tier with no credit card and create my cluster. So this takes about 10 seconds to actually spin up a fully distributed database on a single region. So as you can see, it's done. I can generate a password, which will then give me my database connection string down here. So I'm going to copy this, and really quickly, I'm going to run this cockroach workload command. I'm going to load some data into our new database for the demo. That takes a couple of seconds. I forgot to change this. I think. And that does that. So then we can go to Hasura. I have already created a project here for our serverless. So I'm going to launch the console. And in here, I can go to data. We can connect our database. So I'll call this CRDB serverless. We're going to select our cockroach driver. Database URL is going to be the same. The only change I'm going to make is remove this from here. And I'm going to add a verify CA and then call this CRDB cert. What I've done is under settings here, I've added a environment variable that has our CA cert to verify that certificate authority. It's a one-time setup you have to do. I've gone ahead and done that. And I'm going to change this. Instead of default DB, I'm going to talk to bank as well. Connect our database, adding the data source. And as you can see, the database is already connected. So now we can click here, which takes us to this untracked table of views. So I loaded this bank database in. We're going to track that table. Once we do that, now this table and all of its columns are being tracked by Hasura. You can sort of browse the rows, see what the data looks like. But more importantly, you can instantly have an API to go. So this is sort of Hasura's GraphQL Explorer. You can sort of build a query here. I'm going to select things I want. So balance, ID, payload, and run this. And it gives me that data from my database as a fully working GraphQL API. That's sort of the simple demo, right? We've gone from creating a database to adding some data into it to just having an API without writing any code in the matter of a few seconds. I'd say about 30 seconds if you do it enough times. So that's that. Second thing I want to show is how sort of we deal with fault tolerance. So you have your Hasura instance, you have your CockroachDB instance, and you don't want to worry about what happens if my database node goes down, right? So CockroachDB is built to survive node failures. So to show that a bit better, I'm going to switch projects here. So it's hard to demo this in a serverless setting, so I've created a dedicated cluster, and I'm going to show you that here. So as you can see, I have the same sort of data loaded into a dedicated cluster here. And if you query this, I'm going to query all of it. It all just works as is. And if you click here, I have a cluster running. I have 9 nodes on this particular cluster, and none of them are, it's a healthy cluster right now, no issues. I am going to now kill 2 of the nodes on my cluster. So I'm going to kill 8 and 9. Takes a few seconds. And what you will see is Refresh this a couple of times. Node status will turn on healthy. So one of them is suspect, and then you soon see that 2 of those nodes are going to be suspect, right? Right. So at this point, the 2 nodes are dead. There are only 7 live nodes, but if you were to go back and run this query again, you're able to do that, right? There's no downtime to your application. Not only that, but also if you want to do a mutation and change data, that also works just the way you'd expect it to, without taking any latency hits, like nothing even happened. And Cockroach, you can configure how many node failures you can survive. So right now, I've set this up to survive 2 node failures at any given time. But you can add as many nodes as you want, and then you can sort of go from there depending on your risk tolerance. So yeah, that's sort of the quick and dirty demo. I'll stop sharing. If there's any questions, happy to answer them.